Welcome back to another episode of Noah's Nonsense. I'm your host, Noah Brice. Today's date is July 2nd, 2021, with guest star David Schmid. Mr. Schmid, please tell us about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in the city of Milwaukee. My dad was a firefighter. My mom was a secretary and a stay-at-home mom. In high school, I really enjoyed playing sports and thought that maybe teaching might be a good profession because I could continue sports. Wasn't going to continue in any professional sports with my size and shape, so decided to become a teacher, and math was one of my favorite subjects. So went to school, Concordia, in Mequon, to become a teacher. Taught for 7 years back in Milwaukee at the high school I graduated from. Got a master's degree and then moved up to the Sheboygan area to teach math and coach football at Lakeland University. Did that for 3 years, and then math opening and the head football job opened at Howard's Grove. Taught there for 18 years and was head football coach there, and also 10 years as the athletic director. During that time, I also went back to school to get my principal's license and applied at Valders, and they hired me. So I just finished my first year at Valders as a principal high school.
And that is what we'll be talking about today, the end of the year I needed more water. End of the year recap. Schmid says that's what we're going to call this episode. I'm going to tell you the socks I'm wearing, as I told you, not to set you off guard. They are Cookie Monster socks I got from the robotics mentor, Shannon. That was very kind of her. And as I look down, I do not think you wear socks.
I am not. It's summer. I'm pretty anti-sock in the summer, so whenever I have a chance, I have whenever these kind of shoes are on. I wear Crocs a lot in the summer, so.
All right. I don't know. I'd call those like not moccasins, not hey-do's, but maybe somewhere in between.
Sanooks, maybe, is what's written on the side.
I don't know. I'm not
very comfortable.
Oh, good to hear. But I won't bully you for not wearing socks, because I did that in Trent's episode, but I am a little bit disappointed, but that's fine. That's
okay.
Fine. I know I didn't warn you, but that a little sad. But back to what we should talk about, not just a sock rant. You kind of talked about like why you wanted to be a teacher, so I guess I'll ask something else there. What's like your favorite like memory teaching, like math or like coaching? You know that.
Well, I've been teaching now for 28, 29 years in education, so there's a lot of them. I'd say, one that transcends a lot of the years is just being able to see kids get math. Not a lot of kids come into your math classroom when they love math. Some do, but most do not. And it's fun to see kids, like the light bulb turn on over their head, when they finally get something after been working hard at it. Speaking of working hard, that's probably one of my favorite things is watching students, athletes, musicians, actors work really hard at something and then perform, whether that be on a Friday night football game or at a band concert, and they perform their best because they have put so much hard work into it. And I think that the same thing happens at school. Nobody just comes and watches, somebody take a math test, but that's pretty fun to watch somebody get an A on a math test or even a B or a C, but they had to work their butt off to get there, and that's pretty fun. I've been involved in athletics, so there's been some pretty special, games and victories that I've had as a football coach, and then also as athletic director, a couple of teams that I've accompanied to state and win state titles in volleyball and basketball when I was at Howard's Grove. That were pretty cool too.
Well, that is something. I think a lot of teachers agree with that, so at least you're not off your rocker, I'd say. But so you were a math teacher for a while, so why did you jump to principal? Why did you take that? I know you kind of talked about it, but I know you talked about your coaching, but what set that really in the ground? Because Valders is pretty small.
Yeah, I guess I would say it's really kind of just been a natural progression. I taught math for a long time and coached, and then when I moved up to Howard's Grove and I was the head coach, that was a natural progression from just being an assistant. A couple years into that, then I became the athletic director, which was another natural leadership progression. I had a number of very close friends in education tell me that I should look into becoming a principal. They thought I would be good at it, and I thought in my time of life, where my kids and my family were, it would be a good time, and I thought that I'd be able to coach teachers now who then get to work with students. So instead of just certain athletes, I would get to work with the whole student body kind of as a coach. That's kind of how I look at it.
Okay, so not head sports coaching, but just life coaching.
Yeah, could call it that. Education coaching, life coaching. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So one of the fan submitted questions. The previous one was Noah Nelson, whatever, but this one was by Sophia Donovan Kupacek. What was your biggest change when you stepped foot in the Valders store?
Well, I had taught at Howard's Grove for 18 years, and so I guess I would say, right or wrong, I was pretty comfortable there. I had some really good friends in the teaching staff. I currently live in Howard's Grove, so I have a lot of good friends in the community. The biggest thing is I had to start over, so I didn't know the staff when I came in. I kind of knew Mrs. Iselman from being a fellow AD, but that was about it. The community is very similar to Howard's Grove. They're both very small. I think Howard's Grove High School is maybe 20 or 30 kids smaller than Valders, so that was kind of similar, but I didn't know any students and I didn't know any of the traditions or anything like that. So that was a big change. And then the position itself was a huge change as well.
I mean, that is kind of a big jump in both, I think, pay and responsibility.
Yeah.
So I understand that. There is one thing that you kind of talked about, traditions, that I personally would like you to change, I guess.
Okay, what's that?
So I don't know if you're very familiar with the Droid Rage robotics team. Started in Valders. I think it's 12 years ago now.
Okay.
So if you ever go walk down the trophy case, you'll see us in there, and some other teams in the local area too and whatnot. Prom is always like the weekend, like the last weekend, give or take, like around the 24th-ish of
April.
April, yes. Yep. That is when the robotics team, if we would move on to Worlds, we would be missing prom. And freshman year, I didn't have a date or anything, so that's fine. Sophomore year, I don't know what happened. Junior year, COVID, but sophomore year, COVID, excuse me.
Yeah.
Junior year, I went. Worlds was canceled because of COVID.
All right.
But looking for the students that are below me, some of them are robotics, and I feel if we could either change the week before or something like that. Like if you look, I don't know what website. I just know first the head robotics people. I'm pretty sure they have it the next couple years of where it is. We went to Detroit. People have gone to Louisiana. We wanted to go to Florida one year, but so if we could, it's more me complaining, I guess, than more asking. But if you could be a little bit more, I guess, self-conscious about that, and change prom plus or minus a week or two from robotics, because I didn't mind Robo Prom, but I would love to go to prom at Valders where I am raised. Right. So. I mean, I was going to tell that to Lobs, the previous teacher, previous principal, but since you're the guy, and I thought I should let you know that it's a tradition that could be moved, and I think everyone would still be happy campers.
Yeah. I guess I would say two things to that. Number one, if that's something that you'd really be interested in, I would get involved with the prom committee. I don't know if it's set in stone for next year. It might be too late for next year already, but certainly bring up those kind of concerns to the student council and the prom committee. The second thing I would say is that time of year is really tough, because if we take it off of something that's really important to you and we move it a weekend before or a weekend after, now that might be on a weekend that's really important to other people too. So it's kind of one of those things where you can't win, but I certainly would encourage you or anybody else that has concerns about the prom date or anything else, get involved and share that. And hopefully we can come up with a solution that works for everybody.
Well, thank you for such openness and honesty. I appreciate that. On to the next question, submitted by Gracie Neuenfeldt and Bailey Koehler, I believe. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. But so the new phone policy, I believe you're cracking down, I would think.
Yeah, I would agree with the second part of that. The first part is it's not a new phone policy. It would be the same cell phone policy that's been in place in our board policies and in the student handbook. I would say, to be completely honest with you, it's probably something that got away from me last year. Like I said, I was new and trying to learn a whole bunch of stuff. And in addition to that, there's a lot of technology that teachers were getting ready to learn, and teaching kids in class, teaching kids out of class. Twice we were everybody was out of class. So there was a lot going on that kind of got pushed to the back burner, and it really became, in my opinion, a distraction in our school for students, for teachers, that really detracts from why we're here, and that's to learn. I think cell phones are here to stay, and technology is here to stay, and that's going to ever evolve. But what's important for us, me as an older adult and high school students, is to learn the appropriate use of technology. I don't think it would be appropriate that if I got a text, I'd pull it out in the middle of this podcast. That would be rude, disrespectful. And I think the same thing happens in our school, that students are so attached to their cell phones or other technology that it takes away from the real reason why they're here. And so, like I said, it's not a new cell phone policy. It'll just be something that we enforce much better and more consistently this coming school year.
I agree with that personally. I don't find it too bad in the classes I'm in. I get what you're saying. There's always worse cases, but I feel, and what you're saying is true. But I feel it more at lunch is your free time, so I can't say anything. But the more social construct is just you see lunch tables, just everyone on their phones, not even talking. And
Right.
In my opinion, that was the best part of the day.
Yeah.
It's you cannot interrupt me. It's our time, which is, I get the point of school in the 45 minutes, and it's their time, not my time. But that's another thing. I know it's their time, do whatever. I just feel I don't know, some social reform and the whole society as a thing would be good. But it's just so not depressing. That's not the right word. Sad, I guess you could go with that. You just see people, and I personally, I don't mind school. It's not my favorite, but the reason, I show up because I have to. But one of the reason I do enjoy it more is that social thing. And when I graduate, I have 10 friends, we'll say. And there's only 2 of them I'll talk to on the daily. Everyone else is going their separate way. So you gotta appreciate that moments now, I feel, is just a struggle for some of us.
Well, I think, humans are created to be interactive social beings, and not to have their face buried in a screen all the time. I grew up when phones were attached to the wall and they had a big long spiral cord, and whatever you were talking about, everybody else in the house heard you talk about, and that's how it was. And I didn't have, cell phones weren't around, and I didn't have one till I was probably in my mid-20s when they became affordable for the regular person, and it was about the size of a brick, and all it really did was call. And they've evolved so fast, and they're great things. And social media is great. Like you said, you have 10 friends and you'll keep in touch with 2. Well, social media will help you keep in touch with those other 8. But social media can also be bad. I don't think social media is good or evil. It's neutral, and it's just how it's used is determined what the end result is. Got to be able to interact with people. There's very few jobs that you're going to be able to get where you just sit in the corner of a cubicle and not interact with anybody. So that human interaction is something that we're definitely missing, and I think it affects some students' mental health. If they're not interacting, or they're reading stuff on online or on an app that can be taken different ways. You and I talking here, you see my body movements, you see my facial expressions, things like that. When you're texting somebody or you're using Snapchat or Instagram, you don't get to see any of that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. man, I just really got to clear my throat today. But like, I've had it where I send a text or something like that. I prefer calling. Like, I'm getting a lot better. I used to be really bad about it. It's just like, I never called people, especially when you're younger, you know, like I didn't get my phone till like freshman year, like late 8th grade. So, but it's just like when you send a text, you're like, that sounds a lot harsher, like not the point. And the thing is, when if I were to text you right now, you just see an essay for everything. It's just who I am, and like I just rather call you, take the 2 minutes. I get it is a lot more convenient, but that's another thing I think people like. I struggled with calling the bank. That was just not because I didn't call people. I just like I used to have like nervous, like really bad about that. So like that's another thing. Like people don't call the like. I know a lot of people are just like, all right, I don't need to call the bank. I'll go in person. But like sometimes you got to like go over that. I feel like that's just like, I don't know if that's just my generation or just like me personally. I really struggled with it for the longest time. But I feel like that's another hurdle we need to go over. As like I don't know, I guess a society. I don't know. I just see it a lot. I'll hear people like, "Yeah, I have to go to the bank. I don't feel like calling them." I'm like, just learn it, do it, get comfortable, get used to it. And I hate when people don't answer their phone though, like to a degree. Yeah. It's just like, I get you have stuff going on, but you couldn't like let me know something like. But anyway.
Yeah, I think it's really important. It would be an extremely important life skill for anybody to be able to learn how to communicate in all different facets. To be able to go into the bank and person to person get your problem resolved or your question answered, to be able to call on the phone and actually speak to somebody on the phone, and to be able to use social media. Now, like I said, I grew up not having any of that, so I probably could get better in my use of social media, you know, in my job and maybe even in my social life. But I think the more well-rounded you are, the more opportunities you'll have as you grow up.
Opportunity is a very big thing, and I know we still got some things to discuss, so we're not wrapping up, but like, thanks for having me though. I know it's early, but like, it's been good. Once you know it's going well.
All right.
Like for like principal, I'm just curious. This is more like, I find this, I don't hear this every day, but like, what would you use like as a principal, like social media for, except like football events or stuff like that? Like, would you think there'd be any new or different you would add to it, I guess?
Well, you know, I guess I would take the Monday Minute. I write the Monday Minute. I don't know how many students actually read it. I do know that a lot of parents have said something to me that they really appreciate it, but that gets emailed out. In school, I think students are taught to use email, but I don't think that's their first method of communication. Now, when they get a job, that's probably going to be something they need to be good at. But I wonder if maybe there wouldn't be a way that I could convert that same thing and just send it out multiple platforms, kind of like we were talking about your podcast earlier before we were on the air, where I create one document and it gets emailed and then maybe posted to a Valders High School Instagram account or Snapchat, and then the new one, which probably isn't very new, but new to me, is TikTok, which I don't know much about. But, you know, I don't even know which platforms it would be appropriate on. So, and really my purpose for it would be just to get the information out to students in platforms that they use more often than having to check their email.
I'm a big email guy, personally. Like, it's just a lot. Like, I have so many people on my phone, social media. It's just like, only get like 10 emails a year, and I'm normally sending them, so like it's easier to keep track of. I read your Monday Minutes, like, actually. Okay. I just like, and I like how you always put the old business, so actually, like, if I missed one, I thought that was a nice character. I read them. A lot of it I didn't have to like worry about. Right. Like just wear your mask, stuff like that. I'm like, I'm fine. Yeah. I'm pretty good lad. But I mean, some friendly, you know, host advice, or not host, I guess social media influencer, whatever you want to call me, or some advice. People, you can do that. Just, you know, take a picture, selfie, and just put in the description, copy and paste. That's what I essentially do. Post it 5 different platforms. The thing is, though, like, you go to Facebook, we'll have a picture of Mr. Schmid, Monday Minute, or whatever you want to do, or just the Valders in the background. And you can put the text in the description. I mean, I just don't know how many kids you're going to get to follow you, but like, or Instagram, same thing, have a picture, text. Yeah. I don't know TikTok. I personally don't like TikTok. I stay away from that. That's where I like cross the line. I I like Facebook and stuff like that because most of it's like family. Instagram's like more friends, some family.
Yeah.
But like you see other people. It's just like TikTok's just like I call it like a lesser YouTube in my eyes.
Okay.
I'm a little bit biased, I guess. But like you could, it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
You just gotta do it. I just don't know how much like people Instagram they have like I know other people like students have like some Valders things so like games. I don't know if that's sponsored by or not sponsored, but like I know like not the yearbook crew, it's some individual or some group I'm not aware. It's like okay Monday game. It's wear pajamas, stuff like that. I don't know. I think that's all student based, but right. I mean, you could get it like official, do it yourself if you wanted to, or have a group of students. I mean, you could do it if you wanted to.
Yeah. We'll see. Like I said, I'm a little old school, so it works pretty good email. And if I have some time this summer to play around with it, maybe I'll look at something else. But we'll see.
I just talk to the younger lads or younger lasses. Just be like, what do you guys think? Would you do it? I'll help you out if you need. I mean, send me an email.
That. All right.
Yeah, no problem. But I think that's enough about phones and social media and such. Right. This is one of my favorite questions I got today. What does it take to make your haircut that good? Ben Eben, fellow senior, asked this.
Well, as many of you may know, losing your hair is a recessive gene trait that you get from your mom's dad. So my maternal grandpa was a lot like me. He fought it a little bit, kind of had like comb over and stuff like that. But he would always tell us, God only made a few perfect heads, and on the rest he had to put hair. So I had really hard to manage curly, kind of wavy hair when I was growing up, and I played a lot of sports, and so you would sweat and it would get all over the place. So I just started cutting it shorter and shorter, and then, as time would have it, and my genes would have it, I started losing it. And then eventually, I'm married, and then have 4 daughters, so bathroom time was limited for me, and I just shaved my head with a Gillette razor in the shower every 3rd day.
Every 3 days?
Every 3 days.
Dude, I shaved yesterday. I did cut myself. I don't think you can see that. But, like, that's, like, once a month. And I only did it for the show because it was, like 20 hairs. Oh. I was just, like, I don't want people to see that.
I shave my face every day with a regular electric razor, but my head I shave in the shower every 3 days.
Really? Do you just not like any like, hair?
Well, I can't really grow it. I can grow hair in the strangest... Like, I can grow plenty of hair on my face, but not any hair on the top of my head, which is strange. I don't know. That's just the way my genetics work, I guess.
I guess. You wax it?
No.
Oh.
It's just naturally
all right.
Shiny, beautiful.
I mean, I thought you didn't because, like, the sun reflecting would, like, burn my eyes.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured, but,
yeah.
I mean, just to be safe. And on the same topic, last one about your hair, okay? So how did you feel about Emily's joke, Bernie Van den Heuvel, at graduation? I vaguely remember her saying like that, but I don't know. I don't really consider it a joke, but I guess.
I thought it was funny. What she's going through is I couldn't imagine, and I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. And she's handling it with such strength and courage and grace. And, like I said, I have 4 daughters, and they have all long, beautiful hair like she does, and I couldn't imagine losing that. For somebody like me, I don't really care what I look like, and but for her to be able to make fun of or to make light of her situation, I thought was pretty cool. Brought tears to my eyes.
Well, that's good. Another one, I'm going to leave this senior unanimous, or anonymous, whatever, how do you enunciate that? So what did you, that fell. What did you feel about the senior prank? I don't even know what it was, so.
I guess, let me see how I can answer this so that I don't. I guess when I received pictures from Mr. Linsmeyer, the head of the buildings and grounds, early in the morning before I left for school, so I knew what I was coming up against. I I guess I'll say this. I appreciate that no damage was done. I guess I would draw the line on it being a prank if damage isn't done.
Okay.
If the spray paint or whatever they put on the sidewalk was actual spray paint and it didn't come off, then it moves kind of beyond a prank to, probably criminal vandalism. I think it's going to happen. I think I would be I would be not thinking correctly if I would think that years would go by and students wouldn't do senior pranks. But I think it took them a lot of time to do with all the sticky notes, and toilet paper is pretty common. That's biodegradable, and we got a lot of that up. But the sticky notes were pretty funny, and the chalk stuff on the ground was pretty funny too, and it all cleaned up pretty well. So
Okay.
I guess my biggest the only thing was there was a middle school concert that morning, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of the community parents coming through this entrance, and I wanted, while they would think it was funny, I wanted it cleaned up as much as we could to for them to come into our school.
I guess that's funny, but like I didn't know they actually did something. I mean, I kind of assumed they did. But
Yeah.
that's funny. I'm
Do
glad.
you not come in this way?
Well, like I remember toilet paper. That's kind of standard, but like I don't remember going to this front part and seeing anything.
Yeah, I get here kind of early during the school year, so I mean we had some time to clean it up, and like I said, it was an innocent. It was an innocent prank. Probably took them a lot longer to put the sticky stuff up than it did for us to peel it off, but we had a chance to get it all off, and maybe that's why you didn't really notice anything.
I guess next time you just gotta leave it up and don't ever take it down.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like if I ever got personally TP'd, I'd do one of two things: take it down and reuse it, or I just leave it up there and say I don't care. I mean, I personally think toilet paper is a wonderful decoration. I don't know. It's as long as you don't get the cheap stuff, then you got like quadruple, triple layer, and it's not effective. But leave it up there. Add some spooky season decorations.
Right.
I'm a bit of a Halloween guy personally. I don't know about you. Christmas is okay, but Halloween, love. Because some people actually put like Halloween lights up, and everyone's in costumes. I just feel it's a better holiday. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I'd say Christmas is. Halloween, I enjoy Halloween, but I wouldn't put it as in my top 5.
Really?
Yeah.
What are your top 5 then? I know what mine are. What are yours?
Oh, I would say Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day. No, 4th of July, then Memorial Day. Those are my top 5.
And why that order?
Well, I'm a pretty religious person, so that Christmas, Easter are important. Additionally, I get to spend a lot of time with family that I don't see often. I have a brother and a sister. They both live in St. Louis, so those are 2 times that I get to see them and their families. Thanksgiving, obviously, as you can tell, I like food, so... and then I also think it's a good time to pause and give thanks for everything that you do have. And then I was never in the military, and I really appreciate everything that they do because I couldn't do it, and the sacrifices they make. It's good to have a time to pause and be thankful for, the sacrifices that people have made for my freedom. And then 4th of July is middle of summer. It's fireworks, things like that, campfires, stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Except I'm a little different. The reason I pick Halloween is I'm pretty sure you would know this movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother and stepfather love that movie. Their wedding cake. My mother does cakes at Jen's job.
Okay.
If you didn't know that.
Okay.
But her cake she did, it was like that theme, and like she had like the hill curved and like water. It was really cool cake. It was magical. I love that movie.
Really?
I watched it all the time with them, especially Christmas, Halloween. My next favorite holiday is then Thanksgiving. My birthday's November, so I'm a little bit biased, but I love Thanksgiving because most of the time I'm up north with it's more my uncle's family.
Okay.
So it's great. I'm a little bit like the foreign guy, so I'm a Bratz, they're a Tizzler, but we're all good friends. So that's Thanksgiving thing to do.
Yep.
So that's why, and I'm of course like to say thanks, and my aunt always makes a great turkey or something. Okay. So that's cool up north. I'll get a deer one year though. Someday. All right. I'll get one. And then probably third is Christmas. I really do like my family, obviously. Yeah. I mean, they're good people. Nice to go see everyone because, like you said, you don't see them on the daily, most of them. I mean, I didn't really have a fourth or fifth favorite holiday on the top of my head, but when you said 5, I'm like, oh, cripes alfrighty. So, I mean, I personally love like Memorial Day or Labor Day, those two, because like Labor Day, I believe you go to my aunt's on my dad's side and play kickball in the park. Oh, and that's just a great experience. And then I love 4th of July. Fireworks. It is summer. I'm not really a summer guy, but it's warm. Cool at night. Like 7 lights, or when my cousin will send some off. It's just good holidays. It's good to thank like the American freedom. I'm a huge supporter of that, obviously. Yeah. So that's cool. Any 4th of July plans? Because it is in the next 2 days. Yeah,
my family and I go up north and rent a cabin on a lake over the 4th of July for a week every year.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. I'm going to my aunt's friend's house, so it's going to be good times. Yeah. I believe the Hochbachs were out of town, so I couldn't. That's where it normally is. But it's to spend time with Aunt Suze, who used to own the Cruze. That's kind of an inside joke. You have to know my... If you look out the window later, you'd see my car, my Chevy Cruze, 2012 6-speed manual from Aunt Suze. That once belonged to my dad, but now belongs to me. Yeah, you have to know me a little bit more personally to appreciate such 6-speed manual glory.
Wow. But, sounds like a good story.
I mean, it's really not that exciting, but I mean, I love I'll tell you a little bit about it because you seem very enthralled in such story. I was a young lad. I lived with my dad for a while, and we were younger. I think it's around the age of 10, I think, when he got the Cruze, because it's a 2012. Okay. I think he got in 2014, so give or take. And I thought it was cool, the manual and all that, and like all the stuff we do. I had a lot of good memories in that car and stuff like that. And then a couple of years, I think I turned 14. So I was getting, like, I still had 2 years to get my license, so I wasn't like there. But like, I said, Dad, if that car is still running, I'd love to have it. I'll buy it, or you'll give it to me. Like, we'll work out an agreement. And he sold it to my Aunt Suze. I love my Aunt Suze. She treated it well, but I was really sad for like the longest time because I didn't know if it was going to make it. Now it's at like 172,000 miles. So she's still going strong. Yeah. And then I talked to Aunt Suze, said I'd like to buy it. She's like, well, I mean, it's a good car. I could use a different car. I mean, I know you really like it because your dad and whatnot, me. And like, she sold it to me and owned it ever since. Owned it since September 9th. So it's been a while. I love my Cruze.
Do you give your cars a nickname?
I call it Sue's Cruze. Oh. Yeah. I mean, I know it's weird to name it after your aunt, but it does have the alliteration, which I do love.
Sure. Right.
And the reason I like manuals, I'm assuming you drove manual. Yep. Okay. I mean, I love manual. My grandfather taught me how to drive manual, and that was just a lot of good memories in that car. Stalled it probably over 1,000 times. Yeah. I teach some people, mostly women, but nice to get a variety of people in. And it's just like I started in the Valders parking lot, actually, community center, most of them. And like my grandpa just threw us on the road, out we went. So I'm like definitely babying them. Is it more successful? I'd say yes. Yeah. It took me like a while. And like for the second car I drove to, like when I had my temps, second week, second car, I drove my grandpa's Volkswagen Golf 2005, 5-speed. And like, oh boy, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. It took me like a couple months, like to actually felt like he's not gonna, like he was super patient, but like he would joke to me like, my neck whenever it's like a rough shift or just good memories. So that's why I'm more of a manual man. I will never buy an automatic. So.
The hardest part is getting it moving, and so a parking lot's a good place to start because you could just get it moving, stop, get it moving, stop, and not have to worry about traffic, injuring yourself or other people out on the road.
I mean, it's definitely, that's what I do. I wait till they're comfortable, start, stop. Most of them take an hour, depending. Some hour and a half, some half hour. There's some people that shock you. Start, stop. Yeah. Stuff like that. Slowly go on the country roads, and if you're really special, you get to go to A&W. I'll normally buy. So it's kind of a magical experience, but I love my manual car.
It's hard to find. Manuals are hard to find.
They are. I forget when they really stopped production. I think it was like 2015. Like, I know the Cruze ended, I believe, 2020. I know it's like a cheaper car. It's like an Impala. Well, not Impala, more of a Malibu, but I just have a lot of emotional attachment to the Cruze. So like, what did you ever? I remember, I really do find manuals fascinating. But like, do you have any like childhood memories at all, like stuff like that?
Of cars.
I mean, life in general. But if you have like a really cool car story.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of really good memories. Like I said, my dad was a firefighter, so in Milwaukee they're full time and they work 24 hours and then they're off 48 hours. So my dad would be gone for a whole night and then come home in the morning. But we'd go visit him at the firehouse, you know, if he was in the right area of the city where they weren't very busy. And after fires, they have big, tall
Ladders?
No, parts of the firehouse where they would hang the hoses on chains and then pull the chains up and then let the hoses drip dry. So my brother and I, who's just a year younger than me, would just put our feet on the hook and then hold onto the chain, and then my dad would raise us up. And then a lot of pictures on fire trucks, and we always had plastic fire helmets and stuff when we were kids. And for the longest time, I thought that's what I was going to be, was a firefighter. But then I got to high school and really enjoyed sports and decided to go the teaching and coaching route instead.
Well, that's cool. Firefighting, that's one I couldn't do personally.
Yeah.
Like, just I mean, like, I'm sure maybe I could run into a fire, but that physical, like, I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of scrawny, man. Like, I'd have to really hit the weight room.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I couldn't. Like, I think I could maybe do the 24 hours, but like the social life and all that, like, it just wouldn't be pleasant. I like working my 410s.
Yeah.
And then overtime.
Yeah.
Have like the weekend off normally,
Right.
or whatever you work. Just straightforward. I know when I work.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I could really do it.
Yeah.
Maybe if I persevered, but it'd be a struggle. I don't think you could just throw Noah right now and he could just handle it. You gotta, stuff you gotta train, but like still, like that's one profession I think's above me at times.
Yeah. I think we're all made for different things, you know. It was something my dad was really good at, and I maybe probably could have been good at it. I don't know. I didn't really ever pursue it after, you know, I was a kid. So I'm glad I went into teaching. I think there's some things that I do pretty good with dealing with kids and people. I'm a people person, so.
Yeah, no, not really much with firefighting. I mean, you got your squad or crew. I don't know what the proper term is, but teaching you got the whole like 80 people per grade or whatever, stuff like that. But I think that's the end of there's a couple more points, but is there anything that you would like to tell me, share, Valders, your life, anything?
I think I've really come to enjoy my job. You know, last year seems like such a blur. I was new at it. I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm extremely fortunate to have worked in a school district with, you know, a great staff. The teaching staff was great. The students were awesome, and the community is, you know, exactly what I was looking for. So they had a lot of patience with me my first year. But it seemed like such a blur, and now that I've had a chance to slow down and, you know, start my second year this summer, you know, I'm very fortunate and really enjoy this position, and I look forward to seeing what we can do with the high school and with the school district moving forward.
I mean, any other, like, I guess I was going to add this earlier, but now that you mentioned, like, anything, like, next week we're going to in-state or anything. Do you have anything on your mind?
No. You know, I think I have to clean up some of the stuff that, you know, I need to do better this second year before I can, you know, I don't have anything in mind where I'm like, oh, we really have to fix this. You know, we do a really good job of what we do. Valders is a great place to be. So I don't have anything, you know, any big goals in mind to change this or change that. So if the teachers felt as though they wanted to look at something, I certainly would. I guess maybe a focus for this next year is after the pandemic and students being online, and it was just very difficult, making sure students catch up to where they're supposed to be academically. Some kids may have fallen behind because they were at home and they didn't get the same engagement that they did. And I think another thing we're going to work on as a district is just trying to make this a more inclusive place for people to feel like they belong. When you're online, it's impersonal. And coming back to school now next year, and there won't be an online option, we got to invite those people back and make sure everybody feels like they belong.
Yeah, one of my good friends and some others and other people, I only saw him twice in the last year. And, I text him, but we didn't really hang out, sadly. But great guy, but it's just gonna be weird. No, not weird, but that's the other thing, social cues and changes. I feel because of COVID, there's all sorts of stuff you could say, but that's not really interesting, I don't think. And it's been covered so many times that I didn't really want to dip into that at all because it's kind of all the same, kind of boring. I mean, I may not be the most engaging person, but at least I know no one wants to hear about that. I guess you that wasn't really advice, but if there was one true thing you live by or some great advice to tell anyone, everyone, what would you, I guess, preach?
I would preach that your time in high school is a lot shorter than you think. It goes by fast, and it doesn't necessarily seem like it goes by fast while you're in the middle of it. But 10 years from now, you're going to look back on your high school and you're going to say that went by really fast. So don't wait to do things that you want to do. Pursue the things that you want to do and try them. You can always say there's tomorrow or there's someday, but make today that someday and try the things that you want. It seems like our world is so politically divided. I guess I would give some advice that let's try to change that. Let's try to come together and realize that we have a lot more in common than we have different. So let's focus on the stuff we have in common rather than the differences that we might see in people.
In the words of Mr. Brice, that he stopped in earlier today, he didn't say this, but we'll have him on the show someday. Is that a Noah Bratz I heard? What a smoothing voice or whatever. That was funny. I appreciate that. Mr. Brice, you should watch my videos. I'd appreciate. But one of the things he always told us is, I'm not telling you what to believe, but here's how the facts were. When he's talking about stuff that happened in the past. But one of the things he said, America, I believe he said, I forgot what year that it ever since. I think he said it was the 70s, and he still feels I think it's more 60s, 70s era. There's such a divide, and he feels that it's still that energy kind of up to today, and I just kind of agree with that. So I guess, I don't know, Mr. Brice is just right. I don't know where I was going with that. I thought I had a great point, great story.
Yeah.
Maybe just a shout out, Mr. Brice, love that guy. But
extra credit for this coming fall, maybe.
I mean, I did tell him if I turned in every assignment first quarter on time, that there was no reason he couldn't be on the show.
Okay.
He kind of laughed, so I think I got him. I'm not worried.
There you go.
But I mean, I think that's all we have time for today.
All right.
But thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Guest star Mr. Schmid, Valders High School.
Yeah.
So thank you for
letting
me come in.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. End of the show. Clips from GoPro audio, slightly edited to the best of my ability. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Good job.
Easier than I thought.
Yeah, no, you just gotta get him relaxed. That's the trick. Good stuff. I was a little worried about time because this sounds like 23 minutes. I went through all my points. I'm glad we talked about cars. I love cars. I never really was actually into cars at all until my cousins, and I got my license too. My cousins are huge into cars. So I got more into cars from them.
All right.
But yeah.
I was never really a car guy either. I wish I would have in high school or whatever. I wish I would have taken more classes or paid more attention to. Because now I just have to learn how to do it on my own. Remember, there's no T.
Oh gosh, sorry. I don't know why I always want to put it.
That's right. That's more common.
Yeah, honestly, that's just the folder file. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't find your email. Your email showed up, but in the thing, but I'm like, I don't think that's right, because I thought it was like at Valders K-12 or whatever, and there's the student one, there's like 2, I know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't think that's the one normally, so I put both in, and you responded to one, so, no, I'm really sorry about your name.
Yeah, that's right.
See, as you can see, like that's not how you spell Schlorf, or that's not how you spell Rogowski.
Yeah.
I always make sure, like, you not believe. Like, when I do an episode, like, I check at least 50 times.
You really butchered it. It's SCHMID.
Well, I mistyped. Wait,
SCHMID. CH. Yeah, there you go. ID.
I don't always want to put T in.
Yeah, like I said, that's more common.
But, yeah, that's all I need from you, I think.
All right.
File name. That's gonna confuse me. Don't worry about the file names. You won't see. No one sees this but me. I feel like we all have those bad documents. But yeah, that was good. Turn this off though, not to have that rolling.
Let me know when.
I'll let you know.
Post it.
Yeah, I was hoping. I'm
not in a rush, but
Yeah, give me a week or
my kids will
two.
want to make fun of me. When
Sure, of course. Beginning clips from GoPro audio I slightly edited to the best of my ability. This is the final clip of the show. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. I'll be there. I'll definitely be in the shot. You'll be in the shot. Let's go through the audio quick. Make sure that's all up to par. I'm going to ask you to talk in about 15 seconds so I can adjust for your volume to the best of my ability.
Okay.
I'm pretty loud, so I'm not too worried. Oh, also make sure your phone and everything else around you is definitely off. I've never had it happen. I'm always prepared, but I would hate if someone called me. Normally doesn't happen, but I don't live on the edge, personally. All right, my phone is muted. You don't have to look at the script if you don't want. I mean, some people, it's easier if it's more natural, I feel, but if you do, I'm not going to yell at you, I guess. Let's turn this down so it's not yelling at me. Let's move this over. All right, Mr. Schmid, if you want to talk for a minute or two.
Well, I'm a little bit excited, a little bit nervous about my first podcast, but you've done a nice job of putting me at ease, so I think it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, that's fine. I can post that. I can bump up the volume. It's just not like your, like, if you look at that, if you can see the 0, you want to be like -6, 12, 18 is like inappropriate. It's just more when you're lower, because I talk fairly loud and I'm about that range. But if we're like, you said something and I laughed, we still have that like buffer zone. So you are fine.
All right.
Let me get a drink of water. And I'll do that like throughout the whole show. I really hope I'm in the shot. I didn't look. It looked like my chair was in. You're good and dandy.
Do you want me to look?
Yeah, if you could, because if you're in it, then I'm in it.
Oh, you're definitely in it.
All right, like good distance.
To, like, here.
Okay, I forget the field of view on that. That's good. All right, so I'm gonna hit the record button, and there'll be this like 10 seconds of just awkward silence.
Okay.
And then I'll start off the show. Like I said, I'll introduce you. I'll ask you what socks you're wearing.
Okay.
And off to the races.
Okay.
Yeah. Just relax. Yeah, it's all good fun. No one's here to attack you, so pretty friendly I am. And so are the questions I got. So yeah, I think we're ready, man.
All right.